let's get into all of this sort of stuff. So let's go. What is the time? 19:35. 19:35. I mean, let's start. We've got Saliba, Bellerin, Osimhen, and all the rest of it. People, hit the like button. Saliba, we're not going to know in it. As I always say, for me personally, I think all variables are on the table. I think there's a reality where he could stay at Arsenal next season. There's a reality where he could be sold. There's a reality where he could sign a new deal and go out on loan. There's a reality where there could be no contract and go out on loan. Everything's available. I would like to see Saliba integrated. First things first, we're very lighting midfield. I mean, clearly, Arteta spent 50 million on Ben White. He's going to play. Gabriel's the only left-sided centre-back that's suitable at this football club, not that shit one that scored the other day in Italy. So I would like Saliba to come back. We've got a young squad. He reflects that. I do think as good as I think Ben White and Gabriel have generally done this season, they've both done stupid things, as Saliba has on loan at times. And I do think they've gone through dodgy bits of form where they could have been dropped out. And when you look at Tierney, Partey, Tomiyasu, the better players we have, the more we're able to rotate players and keep people fit and not see a knock-on effect. Arsenal, when Liverpool, I'm sure Liverpool fans, if they were to lose games, they would say things. But I don't think, if Diaz plays, man are not going to scream, oh, where's Firmino? Where's this guy? Where's that guy? We need some of that to a degree. Obviously, if Thiago's not in the middle of the park, you see it. But they've got Keita, Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago. They got options in it. Konate's now coming at centre-half. The City could be the same thing. They're not crying about things, I think Arsenal fans do this. They want depth, but then they cry when there's depth. And if there's a target on your back, if there's threats over your position, you have to up it. Like even Saka. I love Saka a lot, but and he's justifying it. But he's got a free run on the right-hand side. Who is taking his spot? Pepe is not rated. Nobody is saying nothing. Maybe Martinelli, if form's a bit shaky, you want problems. You're wearing the number 7. Smith Rowe's wearing the number 10. It doesn't get any better than that. You're justifying it, but that's a target on your back. If you're playing for certain clubs, there's issues there. Cristiano Ronaldo, number 7 historically at Man United. There's a target on your back and anyone else there, So I would like him introduced, but I get it. Arteta might not want to play 3 young centre-backs. I think in an ideal world, away from all the obvious business, hit the like button, people, that needs to be done at my football club. I would like Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba. If you could find me, I don't really have any names, but someone that isn't necessarily a big profile of a defender. I just want someone that's older than these lot that knows defending. Like he just lives for defending. I think we need a bit of that, because you'd have, in theory, you've got Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Rob Holding. I think you need a 5th one. Of course, if you bring in a right back, Tomiyasu can do a job there, if required. But yeah, I would like that. But it all depends what you read in it. 1 minute Saliba's staying, 1 minute he's going this, that, and the third people. So it all depends what you read in it, because Freddie Paxton has said the agent of William Saliba, Mr. Niang, tells him, we still don't know what Arsenal want to do with William. We'll have a discussion about this very soon, I think. Arsenal will decide on his future in the next couple of weeks. Many factors at play, nothing decided yet. Regardless, I mean, if Arteta doesn't know how he's going to use his player, then there's an issue in it. We really, conversations will have place. Obviously, we're doing what we're doing in the league. Marseille are playing tonight, actually, against Feyenoord. So it's Nelson versus Saliba. It's not the time to talk, but realistically, if you've been watching him all season, he had a good game against PSG. He was shaky against that team. Same way you see my little loan reports on YouTube. The club have to be doing that to reach a conclusion, So everything's on the table. I get the vibe from what Saliba says is that, listen, I'm on coming back. I understand I'm probably going to come back being 3rd choice. I'm prepared to be patient, but I need to know that if I do my thing, opportunities are there. And if we're in Europe, etc., you'd imagine that. I want problems. I want options. Maybe Tomiyasu's moving shaky. Ben White goes to right back. These 2 play at centre-half. Maybe there's a back 3. Maybe the form is shaky from both current centre-backs and Saliba comes in. Maybe Saliba locks down that row and he's moving shaky and he comes out. We need problems. You don't hear Liverpool fans complaining about Matip, Van Dijk, and my man Konate, who spent 50 or so million on. You don't hear City complaining about John Stones, Laporte, and Diaz. Stones, who just had to, until he come off, done a job at right back as well. Saliba can play right back. I'm not on it, though. I'll be real. I'm not on it. It's not adapting. It's Ben White or Tomiyasu, or you bring in the next one. He can do a job, but it's Banduli. So I think all options are available, people. It literally depends what we're on, really. So if you read that, there's many factors at play, as there should be. But I would be, if I'm a player and Arteta hasn't had a conversation with me, whether I'm on loan or not, I don't know. So it all depends what you read. So that was Freddie Paxton. Mr. Connor Hume, who I think, he said, this is the first thing I saw. William Saliba's decision made as Arsenal finally learned defenders' fate. Saliba wants to return, and I think he wants to, but I think he's open to, this is the reality of football. I don't understand why you bought me for big money, but you're not playing me. But at the end of the day, I'm making progress. My career needs to keep going. This is a myth. And it would, we've all seen the pictures of Saliba as a little you in the Arsenal shirt. A big song and dance was made of this guy signing, private jet and stuff. To not see the guy would be a problem. But at the same time, I think fans, as they always do, they fail to understand young players. They do it time and time and time and time and time and time again. He'll come in, he'll boss it in first 2-3 games, he's lit. The other 2-3 games, he's shaky. He's overrated. They've shown it with Balogun, actually Bukayo Saka and Smith Rowe as well. Martin Odegaard. Football fans really don't understand F4 really. Hit the like button. Saliba wants to return to Arsenal this summer and plans to fight for his first team place. Sources close to the player have indicated to Team Talk. As you know, he arrived at 18. It feels like he's been here forever. He's still only 21. He's played, whatever way you look at it, whether you wanted him to be here or not, going out on loan has benefited. This time last year, he didn't play for France, whether he got in or not because of injuries. He's played a lot of minutes. He's felt important. He's joined a big club in Marseille. They're challenging for Europe. They're still in the Conference League. It is what it is, really. I would have liked to have seen him last year, but I understood it. Gabriel's the left-footed centre-half. You just, for whatever reason, you spent 50 million on Ben White. There's probably not game time there for Saliba. Yes, there's been times, but you want him to play. Holding and them man are not lit like that, so they can sit on the bench. Pablo Marie, Lord God, he was there as well them times before he frauded up the place, but yeah, he spent the last couple of years on loan. He was sent back to St. Etienne. He's been at Nice, as well. He's been at Marseille. He's racked up the most minutes, 4,135 at the time of writing in any current campaign of a player 21 or under in Europe's top 5 leagues. He's actually quite up there for progressive passing. Now, I think he's not the finished article. He should return more confident. I do think, he's improved defending. His reading of the game's improved. Everything's improved. Heading could be better. Urgency could be better. Like France, it gives you too much time on the ball. You're not going to have that. He's a fantastic passer. Sometimes unnecessary passes. Sometimes not aware. When pulled into wide areas. What game was it? You could check my loan reports. Gave away silly fouls. I'm not expecting him to be perfect, but he is going to return more confident, and I would like him to have an opportunity here. I would like this curly-haired youth to be here as well, but it's done, innit, people? He's doing his thing. Marseille want to sign him permanently or get him on loan again. Atletico Madrid are onto him. Maybe the club, if they get their bread back, they might say, you know what, safe. I don't know, people. It's very unconcerned. It's very concerning. The key issue for Saliba Arsenal has always been that he was signed by the club under the old regime, and that's true. And I think that's kind of not helped Pepe, etc. But there's been players that are playing. Lacazette wasn't bought by Arteta, whether he wants a new striker or not. Eddie wasn't. Joe Willock at a time wasn't. Guendouzi actually was playing until he couldn't behave himself. Martinelli's getting game time. So it all depends. My man tried to give Mustafi a new deal. So I don't always it don't always go into that, but I hear it, people. Torreira rubbed out as well. Guendouzi couldn't behave himself. Well, in my opinion, he'd still be here. So there is that. But who knows, people? Arsenal are focused on homegrown talents this summer, and because the North London club let's go away with all of that. I swear Saliba will be classed as one. That means that once the 2022-23 season begins, which is next season, this season, actually, he'll be classed as a homegrown player, which helps us. And because we've lost a few as well, Bellerin, Callum, etc. And that will certainly work in his favor. It also makes it less likely that he'll be allowed to leave anytime soon. Also, one thing that probably could go against him, Arteta might say, well, I just spent 50 million on Ben White, so I'm not entirely convinced by Saliba. Gabriel's there. Holding's happy to be a side man. It is what it is, sort of thing. So I don't know, people. The second and main hurdle, however, centers around playing time. And listen, I'm not going to lie, Gabriel's been good this season. Is it like a Van Dijk thing where you're going to play every game? Ben White, is it a Van Dijk thing where you're going to play every game? Saliba, do you get it? So if we had one of them man there, then I understand it. But we've got young players, go out and play, man. It is what it is, people. I can't lie, we're going off on a tangent here, people, but yeah, man, it is what it is. You need rotation, especially if we're going to have more games. Once again, we've spoken about this before. There's always a chance. I won't hide that I'm happy at Marseille. I've developed, I've passed a milestone. I've gone to the French national team thanks to Marseille because there's a lot of visibility. Remember, Arsenal wanted to loan him to a Premier League club. It's a big club with a lot of pressure, but when you are good, then a lot of good things come your way. We'll see in May or June, depending on negotiations. Right now, I don't know what my future holds. And it's gone on to say, from what we understand, sources close to the player, Saliba believes he has what it takes to make it with Arsenal. As a result, he intends to return to London and fight for his place. And I think he's the honest chat. Have Saliba, Arteta, honest chat. Arteta, how do you see him? Because there's no way you can say that this guy can't get game time here. But if you're moving sideways, then Saliba, you've got everyone's blessing to keep it moving, innit? The world keeps spinning, sort of thing. So that's William Saliba. Depending on what you read, you're there in it. And his agent's going to play coy. Arsenal are going to play coy. For what it's worth, allegedly, Sylvester urges Arsenal to send him back out on loan. And I'm not necessarily against that. The man's 21, people. But I would like him here. He's played 33 times so far for Marseille. Sylvester said he should go out on loan. If you look at Gabriel and Ben White, I think that should be the partnership for next season. If Saliba comes in, he'll be backup. These men are still young. He's still young, and I would be tempted to give him another year on loan so he can become even more consistent. He's improved on this loan, but there have been some games where he wasn't at his best level, which is true, as has this guy and Ben White in Arsenal shirts. To develop and become a big part of Arsenal for the future, if you put him on the bench after playing a full season at Marseille, that would be a backward step in his development. Of course it would, but, you know, half of them, that's the levels, really. You've got to earn it, really. So I get it, but we can't talk like Gabriel's the most experienced player. He's still developing. When he signed for us, he weren't the most experienced player. This is Ben White's second season in the Premier League. Let's also remember, I know it's different positions, but Lokonga's here 76 times and Anderlecht captain, very inexperienced. At the time of when we last looked at it, Tavares played 20-odd times for Arsenal and 40-odd times for Benfica. So he's quite inexperienced. Does it come down to maybe Arteta does or doesn't necessarily rate him? So we have to somewhat move away from that. So I don't know what's going on there, really. You know, I don't know what's going on there. Saliba's agent outlines Arsenal's future with key transfer decision imminent. His agent has issued an update on the future of his client, and it's in his best interest. I mean, Saliba's in talks, in line for a new deal, as he should be. We still don't know what Arsenal want to do with Willian. We'll have a discussion about this very soon, I think. And obviously, the president of Marseille said his ambitions, in it. It's a three-way question for the club that owns the player, Arsenal, the player, and Marseille. We'll have to see our possibilities. He's very happy here. We are very satisfied with his performance. Saliba is one of the best young defenders, I've seen in my career. After all, everything depends on the three parties. It's a matter of market value, but we have extraordinary relationships with Arsenal. So yeah, we'll have to see, people. We'll have to see what's going on there, man. They're all rash. Half of these players are rash, bro. You look at anyone that looks at Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel and says anyone's clear of each other, they're lying. Like, they're absolutely lying. Ben White is even though he's bought for 50 million, there's nothing that separates him and Gabriel. There's nothing that separates Gabriel and Saliba. And out of all of them, I fuck with Gabriel the most. He's Brazilian bias, left-footed. He's a madman. He's got the new hairline, but he does rash shit. You know, Saliba does booky things. Ben White does booky things. I'd say for Ben White, I don't really feel he thinks like a defender enough. For Gabriel, sometimes he has brain farts. For Saliba, I think he's too used to being very cultured on the ball and he needs that culture shock. So I could understand not wanting three of them in the same squad, but nobody's clear of each other. And I want them all to have an opportunity, man. Saliba's agent speaks on his future. Sorry, people. I thought let's just make that a separate sort of one. Let me see what you lot are saying, people. You know, because that was a long one. It's good to hear he believes in himself. He won't get his chance unless he won't sign a new contract at Arsenal. But again, if I'm Saliba, I don't necessarily believe that. But if I'm Saliba, even if Arsenal says your chance, I'm not signing that deal. I'm contracted until 2024. Show me, you know. Oh, cool. I'll do my job. I'll train. I'll be patient. But cool, show me. What am I going to commit to from an Arsenal perspective, of course? But when am I going to sign a new 5-year deal and then you gas me and then you shun me and then it is what it is? I'm sitting there saying, all right, cool. You know what? From now till Jan, let's just say, boom, summer. Arteta said, you know what? There's your chance. It's what you make of it. Boom. From now till Jan, I'll shut up. I'll do my thing. And I know the World Cup is another thing, but in theory, I'll just shut up until Jan. see what's going on. If the manager's moving iffy, then things have to go down really and truly. He's got a World Cup to think about, because clearly you're only called up if you're on the radar, but he was called up on a technicality. So that shows that you're in the radars. Again, if you're not playing, it's a big gamble. But he does show, listen, if we want to be a big club, which we are, I don't care what no one says, you've got to, competition is a privilege. Everyone wants to play. It's impossible for everyone to be happy, but balance is a myth, really and truly. And it would be nice to have Saliba, because obviously there's resale value and all these people. Saliba will learn some lessons very quickly. One game that sticks out for me with Saliba is actually not this season. He played against Diallo. I don't know if he's still at Metz. The centre-back, the striker, terrorized him. Absolutely. Stronger, faster, worked him in the channels. Just bare things going on. So, yeah, I think Saliba will go through a culture shock, as you would. He's never played in this league. But other than that, he'll be okay, man. But if he stays, he stays. If not, it is where it is. Just make sure you get peace. Knowing Arsenal somehow will make a loss on the Don. So that's the problem where it is. You could pick one. Who are you signing? Gnabry or Osimhen? I mean, with emotion, Gnabry, if it's based on what we probably need, Gnabry could score goals and can play up front. But Osimhen is just an out-and-out striker. There's nothing else to it. I hope you're doing well, AFC Smith. Should get Ndika from Frankfurt to challenge Gabriel. I don't really rate Ndika, too tough again. And yeah, I'd pass, really. Also, a reminder that we have Trusty and Turner coming in at the end of the season. Hope they can be integrated. I think Trusty's going to go on a couple of loans. Matt Turner's second choice keeper. Never seen him in my life. But yeah, I don't think that Trusty brother's going to be part of the first team. Crazy stuff. What else are you lot saying? Club is a joke. How they've handled Saliba. A bit harsh. I think Saliba, I think he knows what he wants to do, but I can see Arteta's point of view that he doesn't want too many raw talents, but Saliba will have to relearn in the Prem, and he would, but who's more likely to take to it, him or Tavares? And obviously, we all know you play young players, they do cost you points. Gabriel and Ben White have done dumb shit that have cost us points. Saka and Martinelli and Smith Rowe sometimes not scoring indirectly to a degree has cost us points. Tavares, Lokonga giving the ball away. Now, my problem is it's all different positions and stuff. It might just come down to if a man rates you or not, because no one can sit here and tell me Saliba is going to cost you more points than Tavares and Lokonga. And if you're willing, especially in Tavares, if you're willing to blood that, then you can blood get Saliba. Different positions, of course, but I'm sure you will get the premise of what's going on. But we'll have to see, man. Not really rate Tagliafico. Do you think a more experienced centre-back is needed to mentor? At times, yes. And I think with young players, like you see, sometimes they go through great form, sometimes they go through dodgy form. Ben White's been good this year, but he's had dodgy moments against Spurs, against Norwich/Leeds, where he gave away the penalty. I actually feel this last month, I think he was terrible at Chelsea away, if I'm honest with you. Gabriel, I'm a big fan, but he's done the same. Them things there are going to happen. That's why I said if we could find that bridge player, someone that, ironically, with Gabriel's profile, Pablo Marie's profile, 28, 29 or whatever, not really the most established of dons, but the crucial thing with a real defender, someone that's really had an education on defending, someone that lives, breathes, eats, shits defending. Like if you could go Italy and grab someone, ain't got no list, that's what I'm on in it. Someone that there's just relax. I know when you come in, there's certain things, because I think we need that. I think at times both could benefit from that. Same way at times Lokonga would look better when he if he's not next to Odegaard and Smith Rowe against Brighton, where they're both learning their own roles, let alone playing the new role in number 8s, and then he's left by himself. It's just them things. Young players cost you points, but you can't tell me Saliba is going to cost you more points than Lokonga and Tavares. Tavares probably should hit a loan. There's every reason for Lokonga to go out on loan. Next season, for me, he stays and he's part of things. I want a left back, which probably isn't going to happen. So that would probably mean Tavares goes out on loan, probably try, get experience, put him in the shop window and profit. Too much time. He is under pressure, but there's bare time on the ball in France. But these are things that are naturally going to happen, man. Everyone should be keeping their cards close to their chest. Saliba shouldn't come out and say things. The club shouldn't say anything. His agents. What I'd say, Saliba, control your destiny. Don't let the club, don't let Marseille, don't let anybody gas you. Do what you want to do. Listen to your heart, but make a calculated decision, man. It's baffling as to why you haven't. It will really pee me off if you're not given an opportunity at least to play a game for the noise, but make the right opportunities. You know, you've got to look at things on a cold-blooded thing, especially because Arsenal are doing this youth project thing. Like, we're doing this youth project thing. What do you mean? Me, 21 years of age, French international, you bought me and made a big song and dance. What do you mean I can't be part of this youngest squad in the league and what you're doing and all these things? I'll be sitting there and say, brother, I am the reflection of the manager, as a manager should reflect. I'm young, hungry to prove myself in the game, as should Mikel Arteta. And if they're not hearing none of that, then it is what it is. I don't know how we find gems, but just do scout properly, innit? Bro, trustees, them. What's that guy at Chelsea? Is it Maizy?